This is Timothée Chalamet.
What's up?
He is a cultural icon, a symbol of youth, creativity, and fearless self-expression.
Wait. So everyone heard that, right?
A star whose influences stretches beyond film into fashion, music, and social conversation.
That's literally it.
This is the artist who has captivated millions.
It's a dream come true. Yeah.
A modern-day muse.
Working with Timothée was an amazing process for me.
And one of the most compelling figures in contemporary cinema.
So Timothée was born on December 27th, 1995 in New York City. He grew up in Hell's Kitchen.
I wouldn't be who I am without New York. Your self-expression and your creativity and your need to self-express through who you are is that's like your armor. And I think New York shapes that.
And he actually does come from a family that have been involved, I guess, in the entertainment industry. His father was an editor for UNICEF, and his mom actually was a writer and producer on Broadway.
He kind of was, brought up in that milieu, was what Italians would call a figlio d'arte, the person who follows in his family's footsteps.
Growing up in this creative environment, Chalamet was surrounded by the arts from an early age. He has mentioned that his mother's passion heavily influenced his and his sister Pauline's upbringing.
I grew up in a performing arts family in New York City. My mother went to performing arts high school. The drama and acting came into my life really young, 13, 14 years old. I used to be jealous of athletes who would go to these specialized high schools, or soccer players or basketball players who could play all day. Going to LaGuardia ended up being my version of that.
There, he found a community that nurtured his creative talents and provided him with the opportunity to explore acting seriously.
Timothée attended LaGuardia High School in New York. Now, this is the high school that the musical Fame was modeled on.
Other actors who went there were Al Pacino, Liza Minnelli, and Adrian Brody. I think it's fair to say that he prioritized performing over school.
He had this alter ego called Little Timmy Tim, and the videos of that went viral after he was famous. But it just shows, how much of a performer he was.
His TV debut came in 2009 when he played a murder suspect in this long-running crime series, Law and Order, a rite of passage for many New York actors.
It's joy to see you too. Shoes off if you go in the kitchen.
We're gonna go to my room, so could you please not tell Mom and Dad about us playing Xbox?
This was followed by a role in the hit series Homeland, in which he played the rebellious son of the vice president. This was his most high-profile TV role at the time and introduced him to a wider audience.
Nothing.
Well, what are you doing here?
I live here.
His experience cemented his determination to pursue bigger, more challenging roles, and quietly marked the beginning of his ascent into Hollywood.
Chalamet spent 1 year at Columbia University, then left Columbia and went to NYU. I think did a year there as well.
But he found it difficult to get used to the rigidity of university life after being on set for so long and kind of having that freedom. So he dropped out altogether and pursued acting.
Timothée right here. Hey, Timothée right here. Hold that smile, Tim. Timothée all the way right. Timothée. Timothy, look Tim, stay here, look this way. Timothy, smile!
Thinking of his early roles, people know that he was in Interstellar, Christopher Nolan's film from 2014, and he's credited Nolan as being one of the inspirations for him going into cinema and going into acting.
Oh. I met another girl, Dad. I really think this is the one. Her name's Lois. It's her right there.
So for him to land a part in this movie was a huge coup. He played a small part in the movie, played the part of Tom Cooper. Now, after he played the role, he did express some disappointment that it was a small role, that he didn't have as much on-screen time as perhaps he would have wanted.
But then I went home to my dad and I wept for an hour.
Why?
Because I just figured my part was bigger or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
no.
They didn't even cut anything. I just figured, I don't know what I figured.
But he was so grateful to work with Christopher Nolan that he says it is his favourite role of all time.
It was a great experience for him, but it took a couple of years for him to really reach the full heights.
In 2017, Call Me By Your Name wasn't just another love story. It was a cinematic awakening and a breakthrough moment for Chalamet. Under the direction of Luca Guadagnino, the film brought André Ossiman's novel to life with sun-drenched intimacy.
I read the book and I was involved as a producer. I never really thought about making it into a movie as myself as a director. But the long process of trying to make it happen and never succeeding led me to direct it. I think it's a beautiful book. It's a book with a beautiful words. It's written in a beautiful way. I think the language.
Guadagnino first noticed Chalamet actually not from his films, but when he was in a play on off-Broadway. He was in the play Prodigal Son. And I think there were so many things about Chalamet that were right for the character Elio. He was naive, he was beautiful, he was charismatic. He kind of encapsulated what I think the director wanted.
You're not sick of me yet?
No, I just wanted to be with you.
Well, I actually read the book first because there wasn't a script available yet. And selfishly, what an incredible role. And the idea of playing something so complex and layered and contradictory at the same time at such a young age. And I salivated at it. These opportunities are few and far between for young actors, so it seemed like a no-brainer. So I had the great fortune of spending a month and a half with Luca and Army in advance in Kramer where we shot. So if anything, there was almost the sense that you were making a film with friends, which would lend itself to the idea that you don't have to really explicitly illustrate any sort of anxieties about how you're going to be shot or how the story's told. Ultimately, I trust Luca. He's an incredible director. So we premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in January, and it was the first time I saw it, and I was moved and I was proud, and I felt like we all did a great job. But someone raised their hand in the Q&A, and they referred to the monologue Michael Stuhlbarg gives my character in the film and said, I never had that father. I wish I had a father like that, and became quite emotional. And that was the first time I thought to myself, oh, wow, this film has the power to affect people.
In my place, most parents would hope the whole thing goes away. Pray their sons land on their feet, but I am not such a parent.
I think Chalamet starring in Call Me By Your Name was hugely significant. That film and what it represents, it's a coming-of-age story, it's also a coming-out story, and the fact that he played that part and how important that film is to the LGBTQ+ community, and the fact that he starred in it and also played the character of Elio with so much depth and nuance and vulnerability and emotional intelligence, I think is incredibly important. He's so proud of that film, but also the community are so proud of that film as well. And probably that was the making of him becoming this cultural icon.
Yeah, and you were excited for your family and your friends to see it as well.
My mom's seen it. She thought it was great. I'm sure my dad and my sister are going to love it. My grandma might take issue with a certain fruit scene, but you can't have everything.
Thank you so much.
No,
Good
thank
luck.
you. Sweet, thank you.
He conveys his character through gesture, through acting, through music. There's a real sense of the kind of complexity and Chalamet's range through the film.
He has this youthful innocence to him. He's very handsome as well. I think it was all those elements made for a really, really stunning performance.
After the release of Call Me By Your Name in 2017, a cultural wave quickly took shape, what the media called Chalamania. It blended online fandom, viral social media moments, and a fascination with his unconventional, sensitive stardom. More than a celebrity craze, it became a reflection of how digital culture can transform an actor into a generational icon almost overnight.
It's fantastic. It's gratifying, but ultimately very overwhelming.
So 2017 was a huge year for Chalamet. He made Call Me By Your Name, Hot Summer Nights, Greta Gerwig's debut movie as a director, Lady Bird. It was a really big year for him. Of those movies, the most important one that'll endure is undoubtedly Gerwig's Lady Bird.
And again, it was a coming-of-age film, I guess, but sort of told in this neo-noir kind of style, very different from Call Me By Your Name. But again, it was another leading role. And again, it was in 2017, which certainly I think was the breakthrough year for Timothée Chalamet.
Well, I saw your Thanksgiving show. My name's Lady Bird.
It's weird you shake hands.
Yeah.
Chalamet was in Beautiful Boy in 2018,
where he played the character of Nick Chef. Now, Nick was a teenager who was addicted to methamphetamine, and his father was played by Steve Carell, and the film was all about his struggles with the drug, but also his struggles with his relationship with his family.
It was, it was intense, and then it got less intense, and it got more intense, and there was like the honor and the thrill of getting it, and then there was starting to prep for it, and then there was feeling comfortable, and then there was starting to actually shoot it. So a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of preparation. There was like a weight loss. There was getting the, trying to understand what the stages of using would look like, and I was playing real people. Anyway, I don't want to ramble, but anyway, there's a lot of that.
Quite tough having to tell someone else's story.
Yeah, it makes you nervous because you don't want to get it wrong. You don't want to can you imagine if someone's playing you in your life and they did something to rub you the wrong way or something? Yeah, so that was nerve-wracking. And Nick, I think, is he's literally right there. So I'm gonna go over and surprise him actually.
There's a real sincerity about the film. It's very hard to watch. I think, Beautiful Boy, perhaps it's because it's sort of every parent's nightmare, to be honest. There are even worse things that can happen, but there's an incredible scene in which, sitting on two beds, there is Steve Carell is just trying to understand why. He's got such range. He can show a huge range of emotions. And in this one, his kind of the emotional weight of the movie. And it's incredible that someone that young can do that, which is why I think he's such a cultural icon, is that he in the space of a couple of years, he can play a whole range of very different roles and play them all authentically.
Talk about Steve Carell and the family chemistry you had from the start. Was it amazing?
Yeah, well, I'm a fan of Steve, so...
Who isn't?
Who isn't? And I'm, I try to take, my acting seriously. He's an incredible actor. I feel like I learned a lot just being opposite of him. And it's just surreal to me now to even be in, that he knows me and knows me. It's weird.
What was it like working with Timothée?
He's the best. He's a great guy, super smart, funny, an easy person to like.
His performance in this was so nuanced. It was sometimes muted. It was deeply emotional. It was so brilliant that he got a Golden Globes nomination for it. But critics absolutely loved him. They just noted how well he played this very, very troubled character. Deeply sensitive, deeply emotional, deeply troubled character.
Beautiful Boy earned Chalamet Golden Globe, BAFTA, SAG, and Critics' Choice Awards nominations for Best Supporting Actor, confirming that his early stardom was no fluke. Together, Lady Bird and Beautiful Boy solidified what Call Me By Your Name had ignited. the rise of a new kind of leading man. Vulnerable, versatile, and unafraid to bare his soul on screen. If Chalamet's performances made him a star, his style made him a cultural phenomenon.
This outfit's very Harry Styles-esque.
It is.
Are you taking some inspiration?
Yeah.
His emergence as a global fashion icon is one of the most fascinating modern examples of how a young actor can reshape red carpet culture.
He has a really iconic personal style. Sometimes it's quite fluid as well, but it always works on him. I mean, he has such incredible face structure. He looks like he could be a model. He has model physique. And so designers everywhere want to dress him.
Unlike many of his peers, Chalamet famously has no stylist, preferring to choose his own looks and approach fashion as a form of self-expression rather than image management. His rise in fashion isn't just about appearances. It's about breaking rules and redefining menswear. Chalamet's choices blur gender lines and reject conformity, embracing a Gen Z ethos of fashion as art and identity.
I think Timothée has sort of redefined what the typical Hollywood masculine superstar is. And I think that's a great thing. You know, people really gravitate towards it, especially younger people, but designers as well. And so that redefinition is perfect for where we are right now.
By reshaping expectations of how a male actor can present himself, Chalamet didn't just walk red carpets. He redefined them. His fashion journey reflects his acting philosophy, unafraid to take risks, and always in pursuit of something uniquely his own.
How are you doing? You are high five, by the way.
Sweet.
This is unbelievable.
It's not formal enough, right?
Is it itchy?
It's a little itchy. it's itchy where this turns in.
By 2019, Chalamet was no longer just Hollywood's breakout star. He was proving himself a versatile, transformative character, capable of disappearing into radically different worlds. In David Michôd's The King, Chalamet undertook one of the most dramatic shifts of his young career, portraying King Henry V, a battle-worn English monarch forced to shed his youth and step into the crushing weight of power.
He sent an assassin.
There was no assassin. There was no plot to kill you.
How might you know?
I'm naming you an honorary Brit, by the way, because I couldn't even...
Wait. So everyone heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
What's the best thing about being a Brit? Because you nailed it.
Oh, man. What's the best thing about being a Brit? Being so goddamn awesome all the time.
And you know, the girls love the Brit accent.
That's true.
I don't know whether you should put it on more often.
Just in life. I feel like people that do that, I feel like a lot of American people do that over time. They just start speaking with a British accent. Oh God, they're gonna cut this interview up 20 years from now. And they're like, you called it before you started speaking British.
So you're really powerful in this. Was it quite nice shouting at everybody?
You know, I'm sorry to give you a very serious response to that, but there was a lesson in that you play out situations or scenes where you're a young person in a position of power, surrounded by adults that are trying to manipulate you or trying to have their way with you, and you realize how fallible these institutions of power are and how, it's obvious in my country right now with the leadership situation we have there, but it's a scary thing when you realize, when you're a kid, you think the adults have it all figured out, then you realize your parents are just humans one day, and that's kind of what I realized with political figures working on this.
To prepare, he trained extensively in sword fighting and historical combat, mastering the physical demands of heavy armor and brutal period-style choreography. The performance revealed a darker, more mature side.
It is acting, so it is not totally living it, and yet your body doesn't know you're acting. In this kind of role with the period, with the environment, with the sets that are all in period, I felt very much in it, and at the same time felt grateful that I could find the voice in a character the way Hal would be finding his voice.
That same year, Chalamet returned to more familiar but equally nuanced territory with Greta Gerwig's Little Women.
In 2019, Chalamet reunited with Greta Gerwig in Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. A bit of a different part for him. He was funny and witty and charismatic. Before we've seen him be quite emotional and fraught and drawn, and this one was definitely a lighter role from him, and definitely had amazing on-screen chemistry with Saoirse Ronan.
And now that you're a graduate, you'll be off on a long holiday. It's not good like Beth, so I'm angry and I'm restless.
You don't have to stay here, Joe.
Why should we run off and join a pirate ship?
That chemistry, that rhythm I have with Saoirse, our relationship in real life plays out very similar to the movie, except I'm not like pouring my heart out to her and trying to marry her.
Sometimes.
No. Trying to be killed.
This is one of those books that has been adapted so many times that, you think, is there going to be an adaptation for each generation? And in acting terms, I suppose Little Women is. I mean, it's got Saoirse Ronan, it's got Florence Pugh, it's got Timothée Chalamet, it's got kind of the big actors, I suppose, the kind of actors of their generation.
No, the rehearsal time was excellent. We get to work, we did all the rehearsals at Amy Pascal's house, and it was just like bustling with energy. I got this great picture, actually, I want to put on Instagram or something, where Greta was showing us a clip from Heaven's Gate, which is a big inspiration for the movie. And there's a picture where Greta's leaning over and looking at the laptop showing us Saoirse and Emma Watson and Eliza. And it just had this amazing creative farm vibe. And it was a big help before the movie. You get that chemistry going, you get the nerves out of the way.
Together, The King and Little Women captured the breadth of Chalamet's craft. From armored monarch to wistful romantic, he had proven that his talent extended far beyond a single archetype.
In 2021, Chalamet played the character of Paul in Dune. Villeneuve was adamant, rather like other directors, that he wanted to cast Chalamet in the role. He felt that Chalamet was he had to be a kind of credible leader of the world. And in a sense, I suppose, for all the reasons that make him a leading actor, all kind of fed into that.
A lot falls on the performance of your leading man, Timothée Chalamet. You've called him one of the finest actors of his generation.
Definitely.
When did you know he was the right guy for this project?
Frankly, you never know until you put the actor in front of the camera. It's all theory until you put the actor or the actresses, and there's a specific scene in the movie, right at the beginning of the movie, called It's a Test, where the character, Paul's character, Timothée's character, will suddenly feel that something is awakening inside him, a force that he was not suspecting, and he was not aware of. And he did that in front of he transformed. It's like an inverted exorcist in front of my eyes.
And where the fear is gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain.
Enough. I knew at that very precise moment that I didn't mess up, that I did the right choice. And I was working with Timothée was a non-stop amazing process for me.
Now, this was a bit of a pivot for him. This is a huge blockbuster role. I mean, when you watch Dune, it just is huge. It's massive. It needs to be watched on a big screen. But he still brought that real vulnerability, a certain maturity to that character, depth to that character as well. That Chalamet charm was still a huge part of Paul's character, playing out against this huge sweeping background. And I think it just shows how much Chalamet can pivot from being these really nuanced, deep, slightly muted characters to playing someone with a different emotional vulnerability, but still maturity in this blockbuster.
Absolutely. I had a small part in Interstellar, which is a Christopher Nolan movie that I love, but I wasn't a huge role in it. So to get to be a lead in a movie like this, a Denis Villeneuve movie, and like you said, these sci-fi movies that come around that are actually at a high level, they're few and far between. So to get to be in one, that's definitely a dream come true, man.
And very quickly, how important is Denis Villeneuve to the success of this movie?
Without Denis, there is no. I can't say without Denis there's no Dune, but without Denis, there's definitely not this Dune. This is Denis Villeneuve's vision. I think Zendaya would say the same. I would say the same. We are all cogs in the machine of Denis' vision. So, yeah.
He is a plausible leader, I suppose, but you kind of think it must be a very different experience being in those films, and I suppose it's that balance. But again, it's an indication that he's really made it as a star. I mean, the fact that he's chosen to carry such a huge film is, I think, indicative of that.
Simply put, this was the honor of a lifetime for me, and I like how Zendaya just put it. In some way, I just had to be guided, even though it was a project size I hadn't been on before. And every person, every artist I'm fortunate enough to sit up here with right now, and maybe I shouldn't admit this, but I was able to lean on each one emotionally at some point over the course of these 4 or 5 months shoot. These are all actors I've seen in projects that I admire. That's not actors blowing smoke. That's really, if we had more time, I can have a longer conversation about it. And now I'm proud to call these, my sisters and brothers, if that's with everyone up here. I hope we get to do a second one. That'd be a dream. And yet, in some way, I'm simply grateful for the experience of doing this. And Josh Brolin said it beautifully this morning in a different interview. When you make, the process of making the thing is different than the putting it out. So there's 3 versions of the movie. There's a movie you read, there's a movie you make, and there's the movie they edit. And now there's the movie we're putting out there. So hopefully people go see it, but this has already been a dream come true.
In 2022, Chalamet was reunited with Luca Guadagnino for Bones and All. It's one of those films that is, on paper, sounds completely ludicrous. It's a cannibal movie, but it's actually really bizarrely moving.
You could tell in the store? I smelt you too. I didn't know I could do that. I'm going to Minnesota. I got dumped here by a ride. I just stole dinner. It was all I could think to do. You're not local either, I guess.
Why does that matter?
To tell a story of 2 people that have a curse that is so awful that, thank God there's an element of magical realism here and people in the real world don't have this burden, but that they have to grapple with it, these 2 young people, and that they find each other, and that their inherent humanity is confirmed by each other in a way that maybe they didn't believe that before.
And this was also his first production venture, also, as well as acting. And he credited Guadagnino with helping him through that whole process.
Well, I can just thank Luca again. Luca, who's fatherly with me and guiding me in that process for the first time. I think the only reason I could even claim that is the work that David and Luca and I did before the movie started and how much we worked on the script with Kemi's blessing, the author of the book, who's sitting right here. So thank you for that. And it was a wonderful experience. I can't say that I was, helping organize schedules or anything like that. But it's something I hope to continue doing and hopefully even be able to make things that I'm not in that help, bring voices and faces to screen that historically don't get the opportunity so much.
If Dune made Timothée Chalamet a leading man, Wonka made him a global household name. In 2023, Chalamet stepped into the iconic top hat and tailcoat as a young Willy Wonka in Paul King's whimsical musical origin story. Chalamet reportedly beat out several major contenders, including Tom Holland, to land the role, proving that his unique combination of charm, sensitivity, and charisma was the perfect fit for the legendary chocolatier.
What are you doing?
I'm making chocolate, of course. How do you like it?
I don't know. I've never had any.
You've never had chocolate?
Still no.
I loved the original film, and I thought this origin story was very clever, so I wanted to be a part of it. This is the story of an ambitious young Willy Wonka before he loses his mind.
It also shows his range. Not only is it obviously a big budget movie, but the director, Paul King, cast Chalamet without audition after seeing his high school singing and dancing performance on a YouTube video.
Yes, he's gratifyingly relatable. Thank goodness. If I had his fan base, I would be absolutely absurdly big-headed. But somehow he handles it very well.
This was really a step away from what he had done before. You know, Call Me By Your Name, a very serious, coming-of-age, nuanced role. Beautiful boy, tortured character. Paul in Dune, you know, that's a huge blockbuster movie, but still playing a character that's reaching this emotional maturity and vulnerability. But Wonka is just pure joy, isn't it? It's dancing and singing and chocolate and balloons and all the rest of it. A very, very different role for him, but one that he absolutely embodied. I honestly could not think of anyone else who could play that role.
The film's big box office success and family-friendly appeal expanded Chalamet's audience beyond art house and prestige circles, connecting him to Gen Z, younger millennials, and global family audiences.
This audience is maybe different to ones you've encountered before. It's much younger. And are you looking forward to having that feedback from audiences who are just experiencing pure joy in the cinema?
Yes, well said. Yeah, that's perfectly said. And it wasn't something you explicitly keep in mind when you make the movie, or when I made the movie, but yeah, it's super heartfelt, super heartwarming. And Paul's the rare director that can make these heartwarming films and be at that really crazy high level, you know?
You're
insert bad joke.
I know. That's just what I let it hang. It was really lovely to hear.
In 2023, he began dating Kylie Jenner, and pairing that sparked massive social media attention. Unlike his earlier romances, this one pushed him into the heart of mainstream pop culture conversation, though both have kept public appearances minimal. These rare glimpses into his private life show that even as his stardom grows, Chalamet keeps the focus on his work, letting the performances speak louder than the headlines. By 2024, Chalamet had completed his transformation from young phenomenon to full-fledged global movie star. His career reached unprecedented heights at the box office, in the fashion world, and across global media. The year was defined by two pivotal roles. In Dune Part 2, Chalamet reprised his role as Paul Atreides, but with a commanding presence that reflected both character and actor growth.
Chalamet's role in Dune Part 2, where he reprised the role of Paul, still playing this troubled character, still playing someone who's quite nuanced. You know, it's about that character development. And again, you know, this is a big blockbuster movie where it is a lot about the action and the scenes and the sweeping landscapes. But he really developed that character of Paul and really brought that emotional vulnerability to him.
Well, I feel like at the beginning of the first movie, you know, Paul's literally behind walls and sort of has a royal background and I think is virtuous in some way but hasn't been tested at all. He's literally the son of a duke. Obviously, personal tragedy befalls him over the course of the first movie. He finds himself on the run at the end of the first movie. Without giving too much away, even though everyone here saw the movie today, right? So spoilers have happened. But I think by the end of this film, we see someone who's not only stepped into his manhood, into his adulthood, but is almost accepting a leadership position that he's very reluctant to. You know, is sort of wanting to embark on a different path with Chani, where he'd be taken as he was, and instead destiny calls him, and he can't refuse his destiny.
Dune was very much Chalamet's, or the proof really, that he could make that transition successfully from indie to Hollywood, and then vice versa. Arguably, perhaps Dune 2, cements that.
Gurney.
My lord.
Send a warning to all ships. If the Great House is attacked, our atomics will obliterate all spice fields.
You're out of your mind.
He's bluffing.
Consider what you're about to do, Paul Atreides.
Silence!
No, I'm working with a lot of people I admire the most that are working right now, and Austin, Zendaya, and Florence Pugh, and Lea Seydoux. I mean, just heavyweights, you know.
At the end of 2024, Chalamet plays the young Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown, a film that on the whole received pretty amazing reviews.
Is there a scene in the film that still kind of stays with you a moment, because you're in the moment performing as a singer and playing? Is there any scene that sometimes comes back to you now?
I mean, the whole process was really exhilarating, especially all the concert stuff to reenact the Newport Folk Festival.
Chalamet went into really deep method acting preparation for his role as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. He actually started preparing for it in 2020, and this was before the film had actually even got the green light and the firm go-ahead. During the pandemic, he really researched Bob Dylan. He learned to play the harmonica and the guitar, and actually went to Bob Dylan's old house as well. And so by the time the project got the green light, he was more than prepared to play this part of Bob Dylan, and he really stayed in the zone whilst filming was going on. He remained quite aloof on set, and actually on the call sheet he was referred to as Bob Dylan, just Bob Dylan.
If you're a fan of Bob Dylan and you had the opportunity to play him, I think most would, especially if you had 5 years to prep it and then you knew I wasn't going to hand in a blasphemous version. And with a director like Mangold, I knew I was in good hands.
Tim and James right here.
Well, more than anything, and I had this kind of happen when we made Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix. I like making a movie about these people before they're the people. So everyone's like, whoa, they're kind of young to be playing that guy. And it's like, well, we're playing that guy when he was younger than you knew him. And so when that idea occurred to me, the idea of Timothée Chalamet, I mean, look, he's one of the best actors alive working right now. And he also happens to be young and brilliant, and he can sing. And so, and he's a great person and a joy to work with. And so all of that made it a no-brainer.
This was an interesting project for me where I knew the experience I had making it would never compare, rather, the experience I would have watching it or putting it out in the world would never compare to the experience making it, because I had such a magical time making it, And this is probably the last time I'll probably talk about it. This is the last word. That was my thought before I got here, because I've been going around the world talking about this for 2 months. But I just love this man so much, and I love this movie so much, I would do it for a year. I really would. This was a lifetime's work.
For A Complete Unknown, Chalamet received the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Actor. Voted on by SAG-AFTRA's acting membership, it was a significant moment because it reflected recognition directly from fellow actors. Chalamet's starring role in Marty Supreme represents a clear meeting point between his long-standing creative interests and a filmmaking style he has often admired. The project marks his first major collaboration with Josh Safdie, a director known for his grounded, high-pressure storytelling. The film itself operates as a kind of love letter to New York. All of it forms the backdrop for a story that feels closely connected to Chalamet's own beginnings. As award season takes shape, his performance has naturally entered the broader conversation. Early critics have pointed to the film's intensity and Chalamet's controlled, unshowy precision as elements that could position him prominently in this year's Oscar race.
Vince, I gave you the idea!
In many ways, Marty Supreme feels like a culmination of the city that shaped him, the filmmaker he has long admired, and the artistic priorities that have defined Chalamet's career so far.
Chalamet has become such a cultural icon because he embodies the notion of cool.
He's a very popular young man, and deservedly so.
Just need 2 E's at the end of your first name with an accent.
Rupert E, I should call myself.
Yeah.
Cool is a weird term, but it's kind of it encapsulates that notion that you're both drawn to him and you want to be him.
And every day he came in, he was just joyful. He seemed to be really enthusiastic. 4 months in, I would have been exhausted. But he was brilliant. So I mean, he deserves all the sort of credit he gets.
I think Timothée Chalamet has become a cultural icon because he's unafraid to show his vulnerability. He's unafraid to immerse himself in parts.
I just put myself in the material ad nauseum. I just threw myself into it. I did everything and anything I could.
He's kind of redefining the sense of masculinity of what a masculine Hollywood star looks like. But also he's played these really iconic characters. He's played Willy Wonka, a character that's been around for generations. He's played Bob Dylan, another iconic singer-songwriter. So I think it's all these things coming together, his fearlessness in his acting, his fearlessness in his style, his fearlessness with showing vulnerability, his sort of ability to redefine what masculinity in Hollywood terms look like.
He's fantastic. He works so hard, and we really bonded quickly. It's nice to have somebody around your similar age range who cares and is passionate, and we've had a great time.
There's this kind of richness to his persona that he's not just an actor.
I think next from Timothée Chalamet, we could see him moving into directing and more production. I think he has so much fearlessness when it comes to how he acts and how he immerses himself in projects. I would love to see him doing storytelling from behind the camera, directing, producing. So I think that's what we could see next from him.
I mean, one just hopes that he's going to carry on being as good as he has been, because I think one of the challenges is that, is he going to carry on pushing himself? And with that's going to come not just nominations, but I would have thought the kind of awards that some of the actors before him received.
What I think sets Timothée Chalamet apart from other actors of his generation is his versatility, is his ability to be so emotional, so sensitive, on screen playing these deeply emotional characters. And I think he also is still very much himself. He's very genuine. You don't get any airs and graces from him, really. Other actors have talked about how generous he is on set when he's acting. He listens, he reacts, he gives other people their space as well. And so I think what we're getting when we see him on stage in all these characters is authentic Timothée Chalamet.